9:23 is the time. Need to know what Jeff Angelo is indeed the program. So the cost estimate is out on President Biden's student loan cancellation plan, $400 billion. This is $600 billion yesterday. I was off. $400 billion. So is it worth it? Particularly to our young people? Let's talk to Christopher Barnard, who is a commentator at Young Voices. Young Voices gives writers like Christopher an outlet to write great stuff about culture, politics. Christopher, welcome to Iowa Radio. Good morning.
Thank you for having me.
Christopher, what do you detect about this? I mean, I'm sure that President Biden and the Democrats encouraging this wanted or thought that this would give them a huge boost with young voters. Do you think that's working?
Look, there's an election coming up in 2 months, like you allude to, and really I see this whole situation with student loan cancellations as nothing but a political bribe for young people. But the interesting thing is that it actually seems to be pissing people off on both sides of the aisle. On the left, you now have young people saying, why not just cancel all of our student loans? Why just $10,000? And on the right, you have people saying that, well, actually, this is a subsidy towards higher earners where lower and middle income classes will be paying for the degrees that other people decided to take. And so I'm not sure this will actually really work out for Biden.
Christopher, I agree with you. Whenever you make a political calculation like this, you always think that the positives will outweigh the negatives. I think the Democrats that were favorable to this are surprised by the passion of the pushback on this. Is it a passionate pushback, Christopher? Is it something that really has agitated people in your mind?
I think it really has, and especially for people that have not had paid for college degrees or that already paid their degrees off. They're thinking, why should I be subsidizing other people's degrees? If you're a plumber, why should you pay for someone else's gender degree or whatever it might be? I think a lot of people are thinking this is just fundamentally unfair and in a way really fundamentally un-American because we're not holding people responsible for the choices they made.
That's what the listeners are saying, Christopher. I try to get at the heart of what's making them mad about it, and they say, look, these folks signed this paper and they knew they had to pay it back. Because you've probably seen, Christopher, a lot of the political comparisons. Like here in Iowa, people go, oh, well, you don't complain when farmers get subsidies. But that doesn't get at the heart of what people are mad about. It's they agreed to pay it back. Is that what you're detecting?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's part of it. I think the other part here is people are kind of seeing through what Biden is trying to do. Just canceling student loans, which actually isn't a cancellation, it's a subsidy transfer, but that doesn't actually get to the heart of the problem when it comes to how expensive education is in this country. It's just a Band-Aid. And actually, a study shows that within 4 years, we'll have accrued that $400 billion that we're canceling. We'll have accrued it again just within the next 4 years. So clearly, it's not even solving the problem it purports to solve.
That is a fantastic point. That is Christopher Barnard. He is with Young Voices. Christopher, thanks very much for talking with me. I want to invite young guests on the show because I truly believe the political calculation here was, oh man, this is going to just make young voters in love with us. And the folks that supported this really didn't understand the passion of the pushback. And it's not just older people that are mad about it. As Christopher said, on the left, you got people going, so, okay, 10,000, bleh. I mean, why didn't you just go all the way? So you haven't made them happy. And then on the right, and I think in the middle as well, what you keep telling me, what's irritating you about this is that they took this on and they knew they had to pay it back, and now they don't. And there's just something that rubs you wrong about that. And what an interesting point about that Christopher just made. He said this plan's going to cost you $400 billion. Since you haven't solved the bigger problem, folks in college will accumulate another $400 billion in additional debt over the next few years. And, of course, you heard about the lawsuit on this show. Finally, a conservative/libertarian legal firm has filed a lawsuit in Indiana on behalf of an Indiana taxpayer. And what they're saying is this Indiana taxpayer did not ask for this relief, and now you've exposed him to a taxable event. He will be taxed in Indiana on the relief of his student loan, and he didn't want that. You can't give that to him involuntarily. So we'll be following that case as well.